What's going on, guys? Just finished my morning coffee. Well needed after yesterday. So welcome to the vlog. Today we're going to be brewing a West Coast IPA. On the poll on Instagram, it came in with 61% of the votes. But if you voted for either the Cherry Bakewell Saison or the Rhubarb Saison, I'll be brewing them for the next two brews anyway after this one. So we're going for a 40 litre batch. The recipe will be in the description below. And yeah, I've got a couple of new toys to share. Some news as well with going to court. And yeah, let's kick off the brew day. Because we have the dog that we obviously go on, take him on the beach, in the woods and what have you. My plumber has installed a warm or hot tap for us to use for cleaning the dog and for cleaning the brew equipment. But what I'm going to be using this for initially, I'm going to connect it up to the brewery over there, and then I can actually give the Grainfather a head start by chucking in, I don't know, maybe 40-degree water rather than 8. And with the price of electricity these days, I think utilising our boiler, our gas boiler, for this jump start can only be a good thing. This is absolutely going to be brilliant to clean all the kit right here in our little gully. So the pipe's connected, let's get filling this up. Obviously once we come to chill the beer down, I'll switch hose pipes outside to have a cold water feed coming in. So it's now starting to pick up the temperature of the water. That's not a bad head start, is it? Obviously if I wanted to, I could whack the temperature right up underneath the kitchen sink, but because we use it for the dog, we don't need a hot dog. So I think it's about 35 degrees, 34, 35 degrees. That's a lot of the Grainfather even coming on. Good darts, halfway to mash temp. So we're just at 60 degrees now after a quick head start with the boiler. Going to be mashing in at 67 degrees. There's going to be 6 kilos of Maris Otter, just to give it that more bready taste. And then we're using 1 kilo of Cara Gold, and then only 100 grams of Caramunich Type 2, just to give it that little malty bite, which is what the Westies are all about. So this one does come out quite pale, but like I said, because of that Maris Otter and this grist, it really does work out pretty well, and it's a well-balanced beer between the hops. And I nearly forgot the oats, so we put in 250 grams of rolled oats in as well. It's a good job I just checked my phone. Right, let's go find some oats. So we're nearly at our strike temperature and just creeping it up a little bit over. Managed to find the oats, finished the whole box, so no porridge for me in the morning. And in case anyone is interested in the water profiles, so for me with the finest Welsh water, I'm going for 12.5 grams of gypsum and only 3 grams of calcium chloride. So the chloride to sulfate ratio is quite high towards that end, just to get those hops to pop. And obviously your water will change depending on your area, your hardness and what you want out of the final beer. So let's start off with the bulk of the Maris Otter. Just make sure it is Maris Otter, yes. Because I have done that before. And in we go. Really need to get myself a proper mash paddle rather than using this spoon. If any of you guys can recommend one that's suitable for the G40, I'd appreciate if you could let me know in the comments below. Some of them I've seen online, they look good, and then you see the measurements of it, it's like 25 centimetres. It's like, really? I'd use that for my breakfast. So the oats are in. I'm just going in with the speciality malts and another kilo of Maris Otter. Obviously the bag was a pre-weighed 5 kilo jobby from the malt miller. Big shout out to those guys as well. Managed to get the delivery out to me. Ready for the weekend, even though one item wasn't in stock, so they gave me the option, do you want to wait or do you want us to send it out to you? I don't want to wait, please. I want to make a beer this weekend. So yeah, big shout out to Malt Miller and their communications. So that's us all mashed in now. I'll give this about 5 minutes or so before starting the timer, just for the temperature to come all the way through. That's looking good. So I'll just set up the sparge and yeah, leave it for an hour. So we've been mashing for 1 hour. The walt's looking pretty good. Nice colour on there. And the sparge is ready to go as well. So we'll just knock this off, set it up, and then get weighing the hops. Let's do it. Whoa! Whoosh! Whoo! See it coming through the holes down the side. Nice bit of clarity to that. So we're ramping up to 99 degrees. Got the sparge on the go. It's looking good. So I'll just set up the camera this side. I'll check the hop schedules as well. There's quite a lot of hops in this, as you'd imagine as an IPA. But the main hops we're going for is Centennial, Simcoe, and a bit of Amarillo for the dry hop as well. So I'm going to measure up the dry hops whilst we're doing everything now, vac seal them and just chuck them back in the freezer, so it's easier when I want to dry hop. It's just boom, bang them in, rather than faffing with weighing scales all over again. So let's get this started. So start the boil, we are going for 25 grams of Centennial and 25 grams of Simcoe. Come on, and Simcoe. Oh, these are new bags from a malt miller. You've got a little teary bit, and I think they're resealable. If you don't muck it up like I just did. They friggin' are as well. Get in! Good lads! Bags could be a little bit smaller though. That's pretty cool. Oh, love it. So 25 grams of this as well. Yeah, 25 grams. Simcoe. And that is it for the boil. I put a bit of Irish moss in towards the end of the boil. Then we have, for a 20-minute hop stand at the end of the boil. So we'll crash it down to below 80 degrees. We're going to go for 50 grams of Centennial and 50 grams of Simcoe. Oh, she's a good one. And some Simcoe. 100 Gs. So that's for the hop stands. Visibly tell the difference, so I'm not too worried. And then for the dry hops, it's going to be 30 grams of Amarillo, 30 grams of Centennial and 30 grams of Simcoe per fermenter. So I'm splitting this between 2 fermenters because I don't have a fermenter big enough. So let's do the Simcoe first. 26 grams as you'd expect. 30. Get the next one. So much. 30 grams. Then Amarillo. 30 grams of this as well. Into each. Dude, come on, get on with it. Oh, fuck it, can't be arsed. 30 grams in here. You get the gist. John, there's just a bit of dust left between these two, so I'm just going to bang it in. Absolute beauties. So So as you can see, we're done with the Sparge. I'm just holding it at 99 degrees at the minute. In my quest to get to the 40 litre batch size, you can see, or hopefully you can see there, we're just at, say, just over 44 litres. I'm going to top this up to what I would class as like 46 litres, with a 5 litre boil off rate and maybe 1 litre left for the true, because there's about 150 grams of hops going into the boil. So hopefully that will allow us to get to the elusive 40 litres. So let's see if I can do this one-handed. So just watch this go up into the 46 litres. You won't have to wait, obviously, by the power of the interwebs. Say it's about 46 litres, and it's just touching the bars that you rest the grain basket against. So it gives you a bit of a feel of how high it's got to go. So just stir this in. Get rid of the hose pipe first. Kel, come on mate, get a grip. Just stir this in, give the bottom a scrape. So we lost quite a bit of temperature now. But I'll whack this up to 100 degrees and I'll be back for the hop drop. Boom, let's go. So we've arrived at somewhat of a rolling boil. It's not very vigorous, but I think it's going to be good enough. So it obviously doesn't have to be bouncing around and spilling over the top, so that's quite a nice steady boil, I think. We'll bang in the hops and give them a mix. Oh, instant, amazing smell. Woo. It's like a swamp. Okay, so I've set the timer for 1 hour. Whilst I was doing its thing, I alluded to it at the beginning of this video, and I can't say too much about it, but it is in relation to brewing. So if you recall, I sold my Grainfather G30 before Christmas, sold it via eBay. Some chap in London had bought it, so I'd sent it to them via a courier in the UK, which I can't name, but for argument's sake, let's call them My Herpes. And they lost it. So I think they admitted in January they lost it. I'd done the right thing. I gave the guy his money back and started chasing that company for compensation for the lost item. Said company found it in March and delivered it, didn't have it signed for, and left it on the doorstep. And it got rained on, it got broken into and stamped on and destroyed, and they've, as far as they're concerned, they've fulfilled their contract. They've delivered the item, albeit 3 months late and without a signature, and the guy was even out of the country. He's provided evidence that he was out of the country and there was no one at the address. So yeah, absolute shambles, but that's not going through in court until probably the end of this year. I will make a video on it once everything's settled down and all done and dusted. But yeah, it really hurts. It really hurts. It's yeah. I wasn't sure whether to sell that Grainfather or not, but I wanted to buy a large fermenter for this G40, and to have something like that happen to a machine that obviously I've been using for years and years, and I wasn't sure whether to sell it in the first place anyway. And yeah, I'm absolutely devastated about it. But things like this happen, but I just want to stand up for Joe Public against these bullies who think they can just, you know, fulfill their contract by delivering something 3 months late. And yeah, bunch of fuckers. So that's obviously going on in the background, which is really annoying, time consuming. I've put on hold getting a new fermenter because I really want to kind of reconfigure this, where you're sat there, that area of the brewery, to try and get some drainage in. So I might raise the platform, have the fermenter and the G40 up on that raised platform and just have like a soak away. That's the sort of stuff I want to do, but this other thing with the quart is just, but we'll get there. We shall get there. I'm going to let some air into here and we'll be back for the 20-minute hop stand right at the end. So it looks like the temperature is holding steady at 79 on, oh, can you see that? 79 on there. And we've got 76 on here because obviously it's after it's come through the counterflow chiller. So I've turned off the cold water feed now, and then we can just chuck in the Whirlpool hops, which is 50 grams of each, Centennial and Simcoe. Yeah, there we go. Oh, get in. Give it a whirlpool, and then I'll just let it stand then for about 20 minutes, which is just enough time to clean and sanitize the fermenters. So we're currently at 24 degrees, so we'll start transferring over. Lovely colour on that. Get a bit of aeration in there. Okay, so in this fermenter, I'm going to be going for a new yeast to this recipe. So I have made this recipe only a couple of months ago, and it turned out an absolute banger. And I used two different yeasts. So I used US04, which is what I had laying about, and it was coming up to the end of its life. And I also used the Mangrove Jack's US West Coast M44 ale yeast. This was the best of the two, which isn't really a surprise. It's not that kind of style for that US04 yeast to shine. So this time I'm going with both of these. My Old Faithful, which I know is good, and this one, which I'm guessing might be better. So this is the Yeast 1217 West Coast IPA. So that is going into this fermenter, and the dry pitch is going into this one. So we've actually made it. As you can see, we are just over 20 litres. Obviously I don't know the accuracy of this scale, but I'm quite confident that this means just by adding a couple of litres at the beginning of the boil, it allows us to get full two corny kegs. It allows us to get two full corny kegs after we've allowed for trub or trub in the fermenters. So that's brilliant. I'm dialing it in slowly. Sparge tank's obviously not big enough anyway, so I've got to top that up mid sparge, and then I've got to top this up just before the boil, or just after the sparge rather, as we're coming up to boil temperature. But it's a small price to pay in order to get two full fermenters, you know, 25 litre type fermenters. Yeah, chuffed to bits with that. There's a pretty little hop cone formed in the bottom. Don't know if you can see that too well. There you are. So the Grainfather filter has really done its job. So like I said at one point in that video, this is the second time I've brewed this beer. And thank you to everyone who voted for it on my Instagram poll. Feel free to go and check out my channel, and I'm sure I'll revisit this once it's fermented, kegged. Last time it took 2 weeks for it to condition, but 3 to 4 weeks it was proper on song. So yeah, this is a sit on your hands jobby. Sit in your hands jobby. So I hope that video was of interest to you. I'm going to crack on with vac sealing the hops and the malts, which are still in the kitchen. Clean this beast out and put these in the fermentation chambers. So please don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it. So that's it guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next vid. Yechida.